Hey guys, Aaron here. Welcome back to my home theater build kind of thread that I've been doing recently. Here's a sneak peek at the chairs that just got added, but this video is about the riser. So I just wanted to go and show you the finished riser first, talk about it a little bit, and then I'm gonna go into how I built it. So if you guys wouldn't mind giving this video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and let's go. Well, that was a solid 2 days worth of work. I got things cleaned up and vacuumed up now. Just wanted to show you the final result. So the chairs are coming in on Monday. So this is the temporary seating. So that's where my front row is gonna be on the riser. And I got 2 extra pieces of lumber I get to return. And the back row will be up here. So I'll have plenty of room to walk between them. I'll show you what it looks like with chairs on it. But here are my stairs. Now the original plans that I saw, they did 2 layers here on the stairs to make the steps closer to being the same height, but they're actually only 1 inch off as it is here. So that is good enough for me. I'm happy with that, and I'd have to go out and buy more plywood to make that happen. So if I had leftover, I would do 2 layers there, but that's how it's gonna stay. And a lot of people do 2 layers of this one. They put some 30-pound felt between them, glue and screw everything together, but that is way overkill in my opinion. I mean, this is flooring. This is what the second floor of my house is, and everything is on it, and it works just fine. They don't need 2 layers of it there, so I'm not doing 2 layers of it for this little riser. But I love these things. They're made for decks, I guess. But you can pop it open, and I'm gonna have 2 of my chairs plugged in here. And the way it shows in the picture is your cord is gonna come under here and get tucked under there to prevent it from being pulled out if somebody were to trip over it. But then the cord comes out of these holes and can run along the ground flush. But I think the back of these are gonna be under my seats anyway. But I did want to leave enough room to walk behind them. And then I have my 1 stair that comes down to my media room with my rack and everything in here. And of course my little projector that I built a shelf for. And if you haven't seen these videos, I got other videos on my home theater build. So the projector comes out there, and here we have our screen. So we have plenty of height. So let me see, this is about the height I would be sitting at and watching. Plenty of room to get over that first row at a total of, I think my total is right about 15 inches of riser. But so same stair on this side, and then on the front behind our seats, I just went ahead and did 2 gang on each one, just so I can plug 2 chairs into this one, 2 chairs into that one, and have extra power, because you know, probably want to do some work down here on my laptop and these nice comfy chairs eventually one day. So all right, so that is the finished, almost finished riser. Of course I'm going to carpet it, have it match this carpet just so it blends in the room. But yeah, got a nice easy corridor back into the hall, and this is the room that eventually will have our snacks in a little bar. So, all right, that's it guys. Thanks for watching. And I'm still trying to sell this table. So I built this green and green table. So if anybody wants to buy a table, let me know. It's a beauty. Hate to see it go, but need room for the theater. So this is the plan I just kind of laid out with some pink string here. You can see there'll be a stair on this side, stairs on the other side. It'll be uniform. This is where the first row of seats will go. And the second row back here on the platform, and I'll have a little step down into the closet back there. It's a great wrestle area for our guest Charlie and shop dog Millie here. But I wanted to talk about the plans that I made. After I sketched it out in the pink string, I went ahead and drew this to scale. I just printed off some graph paper. And from my measurements, just went ahead and planned this all out. And then based on that, I planned my lumber and supplies up here for my list to take to the Home Depot. So I knew based on the plans that I found online, I was going to do this in a 2-layer approach. So here you can see I have my 2x6 base. So I planned to have these go in one direction. And then on top of that, I have 2x8s going in the other direction. And they are spaced exactly 16 inches apart so that you can attach your plywood on top and screw it down along the beams. And another reason to have them 16 inches apart is so that you can buy insulation that is 16 inches wide that will fit nicely into those. I'll get to this later, but it helps with the overall sound in the room. So your room will obviously be different than mine. So my suggestion to you is to map it out similar to what I did here. And so I just drew where I was gonna have my spans going this way for the base. And then every 16 inches, I drew them here for the top level, and I just went ahead and calculated how much wood that would be. So here is all the lumber and insulation for this thing in here, and I feel like they used less wood to frame this entire room. So it makes me feel good that this thing will be plenty sturdy with just the way I'm gonna make it. So you can kind of see in the pink again here where the outline is. So this first one is going to be exactly 12 feet long, 144 inches, which is the required length of my particular seats. So it worked well. I'm going to use the 2x6x12 for the front of it. And I'm going to start making the bottom section of this. Now, some pre-planning. I'm going to have it go all the way up against the wall. And as you can see, I already have baseboard. So I'm going to go ahead and remove the baseboard from all the places that it's going to make contact, and I'm also going to have to trim the molding around the door eventually when I get there. So that's going to be step one, is to cut off some baseboard. And to do that, I'm going to use one of these tools, which is really handy just to cut straight into wood. I really should have got a new blade while I was in there. This one's pretty burnt up, but it should work. So I just trimmed along all of the edges and in the crease there up here just to break the caulk line. And of course that's going to be nailed on, so I'm going to have to get something back here to pry this off and start peeling it back. All right, we got piece number one intact. I just started in the back. I put one 10-foot board here, and then I had another 10-foot board that I had to cut down a little bit because it's like 18.5 feet wide. And there's going to be no torque on this, so really I'm just going to use the scrap that I cut off and put a bunch of screws in here just to secure that in place, because like I said, the only thing it's going to be holding is weight pushing straight down on it, so it doesn't need any really strength in any other direction. Just bought a big old bucket of 3-inch wood screws, or deck screws in this case, and it comes with a little bit in here. So yeah, I definitely don't like to use Phillips screws for something like this because they strip easily. So from the screw laying on top here, you can see that 3 inches is a great length to be working with 2x material, because each one is 1.5 thick, so total of 3 inches. So I have the 2x6s framed in around the edge. Only the back piece is actually attached. The other ones are just laid out so that I could get a sense of how it is. And it's 92 inches deep instead of 90 like I planned, but it makes it easier for these side pieces. I could actually shorten them up a little bit, which I might do just to knock this back to 92 per my plan, but this is what it looks like so far. Okay, so I have it framed in how I want it now, and instead of doing odd cuts on these, all I did was cut this one 45 degrees, let this one butt straight into it, and cut it 45 degrees over here, and let it butt into it. So 245 degrees equal a 90, so it's close enough. All right, the first layer with the 1x6s is done. So you can see that I did some blocking here for where the stairs are going to be to help support the OSB stuff. And I have all of these done. So instead of cutting them shorter and overlapping them like I did in the back here, I decided for these guys, I'm just gonna attach them like this. It'll give a little double support in some places. Here are the stairs that go down here, a little blocking in there. And I put a little extra lip here because the plywood that I have is gonna ride all along the edge of the beam for the back wall. And I realized that I probably wanted something to put the plywood on for the step. So none of this is attached to the wall or anything right now. It's all just free floating. So now that I have this all done, I think I'm just gonna go ahead and just put in a couple screws around and attach it to the base of the wall. I'm gonna do kind of the same thing, building the outside of this frame of the 2x8s, starting in the back. Had to cut out a hole for this outlet because this is the lower one that I planned to go under the riser. So this will power all of the seats on the riser and any LED stuff that I decide to do. All right, the second part with the 2x8s is now done. So you can see that we have stairs, and we have these every 16 inches and up until right here where I actually needed the side rail to make the stairs. So I added an extra one there. And then it's not perfectly spaced to the end, but I should have measured it correctly that all of the plywood will fit right on top of here. And we have the same thing on the other side. So I just measured and cut the first piece of, this is actually flooring, so it's got some tongue and groove action on it, so they slide into each other to interlock, but essentially plywood. So now I will be, before I put that on, I need to go ahead and do my wiring. So my outlet here, I'm just gonna take the outlet off and add some 14.2 and run that to a couple different locations so we can power things. So the front row is going to be right in front of here. So I'll have in some outlets coming through here to plug those into. And then we'll have outlets coming through the bottom of the floor for the chairs. All right, so I got these little insulation hangers in there. They're the little wires that you just press into place, and they keep the insulation from falling all the way through if they're not sitting on the ground, which ours are not. And then just put the first piece of R30 in there, and it came in 4-foot sections, so this happened to be 4 feet, so that was perfect. All right, beautiful fluffy insulation installed, except for the middle one where I still need to do the wiring, but that's the insulation in. Now I'm gonna start putting on the top just to see how it looks. All right, I'm on day 2 electrical. So I hooked up my connection to the outlet that I had pre-wired here. I got one of these old work boxes. This is the best I could find. There's like nothing at Lowe's today. So I just cut off this little tab that's supposed to go over the drywall. Marked the location here, cut out a nice little hole in the 1x6. So I'll be just attaching that box here and having 2 outlets in each one. So that was the little tracing I did. This was the easiest way I found to do it. Go a through hole in the corners so that you can get your saw blade to get the top and the bottom. And then I just didn't go all the way through here, but just drilled where the little tabs are on the box that will need to fit in there. These little tabs, this one and this one, they don't have to go all the way through, but it needs to be flush up with the bigger ears. And then just cut it out with this so you can stick the saw blade straight in there and cut. All right, I got all of the plywood on there now. So what I did is I just snapped 2 chalk lines. Here you can see one is even with the board. So if I cut at that chalk line, it would be flush against here, but I wanted a little 1/2 inch overhang. So measured 1/2 inch and snapped again, mostly to clear these. So you can see my blade right here is just gonna clear my electrical stuff. All right, sorry I didn't get any video of it, guys. I was in a really big hurry when I was building this so that I could have it done before the chairs came in. But what I did is I used a subfloor adhesive and put it on the tops of all of my 2x8s. And then I just used those deck screws and screwed it down all along the width and the length of the 2x8s wherever it made contact with this. Hello, dogs. They didn't get enough camera time yet. So that's all it is. They're glued and screwed down. And like, again, some people put another 30-pound fabric over it and then put it on a second layer. I guess that helps with sound and makes it sturdier, but I mean, this stuff is expensive these days. It's like almost 50 bucks a sheet, and I needed 5 sheets. So we're gonna stick at this depth, and it is working great for me so far. So that's it for this video. Stay tuned for the seat reviews. I'm gonna do a little unboxing and review of these Octane XL 700 seats. Spoiler alert, very comfortable. I'm gonna go watch a movie now, and I will see you guys on the next video.